I love this wallpaper a lot. Hey! Welcome back to my basement reno journey. If you're new here, my name's Marcel. My boyfriend Ben and I bought our first house here in Milwaukee back in 2020, and we've been literally renovating the main level and the upstairs, all of it ever since. So now I moved on to the basement. I already ripped everything out and put it back together again, so we are officially at the first design moment. And it's a big one because it's pretty much the focal point of the whole room. I got some really amazing wallpaper that was used on one of the sets from the show Poker Face that I worked on last year. It's a classic stone design that I think is going to go really well with the 70s vibe that we're going for down there. So I want to give a quick shout out to the amazing production designer Judy Ree that helped make it happen for me. You rule. But yeah, I'm also mounting the TV as well as putting in the fireplace, so this little corner of the space is going to be done. I already roughly cut the panels down into their own individual pieces because they came on a roll, but they're still kind of big, so I want to cut them down even a little more so that way they're easier to work with. I've never hung wallpaper before, so I'm a little bit nervous, TBH, but let's get into it. Alright, they're all cut down a bit. I left a couple inches beyond the measurements to make sure that I have enough to cut once they're up on the wall. I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but I'm using a utility knife for this. Apparently the big rule with cutting wallpaper is you have to refresh the blade every 6 to 8 feet that you cut. So I got the kind of blades that you just snap off the tip, so that way I'll always have a freshie. I got this wallpaper kit off Amazon with everything I need for this install, so I'll try and explain what I'm using as I'm going, but I'll also link it below if you want to check it out. I think once I start going, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stop with the wet paste and everything like that, so hopefully I'll be able to explain what I'm doing as I'm going.
Okay.
First thing I'm going to do is apply the paste to the back of the first panel with a 3/8 inch nap roller. First thing I'm going to do is apply the paste to the back of the first panel with a 3/8 inch nap roller. It's really hard to say. The directions say to bookend it and let it soak in for 10 minutes. So while that's doing its thing, I'm going to mark out the walls so I have a stopping and starting point for my 2 panels. I'm using a laser level to mark out my plumb lines. I know there's a couple ways to do this, but I already have that, so that's what I'm going to do. I also got a 4x8 sheet of masonite so that way I have a clean surface to work on because I don't want to be working with paste on this dusty floor. Okay, the first panel's up and I already love it. I just gotta say that the trees are blooming here and my allergies are cuckoo. Like I want to scratch my eyes out of my head right now. Anyway, I got this wallpaper from a company called Aztec. Their stuff is super legit. This paper feels super nice. I feel like I'm going to be telling you what I'm using after the fact because I'm literally flying by the seat of my pants here. So yeah, I was using a scrap piece of transition strip that I had laying around from other projects to make that nice straight line down the wall. I was trying to think of something that would be long enough that I could use for this, and it worked out pretty good. Once the panel was up, I used a couple different knives to smooth it out and get out all the air bubbles. The bigger one is pretty standard, but the smaller one has this nice little felty edge to it. I also cut out the first half of the fireplace, so now I'm going to move on to the next panel with some glue and do it all again. Well, that's done. I'm treating myself to a little matcha for not screwing it up. I had to cut the second panel down a lot to make it fit in the space, but I like the stone pattern that was left, so I think it's good. I also had to cut an overlap seam to make the 2 panels match up. I was super paranoid when I did the cut that it was gonna mess up somehow, but it didn't.
Blessed be. Blessed be.
I used this little rolly tool that looks like a skateboard wheel on a stick, and it made the ends of the paper line up super nice and lay super flat, so that was fun to use. I also had a bucket of water with a sponge for any glue residue. I just made sure to wipe off the extra water with a terry cloth rag so that way I wasn't just leaving water on the paper with wet glue. I know I didn't shoot a lot of this in detail, but I was stressing and I wanted to make sure I did it right, so hopefully it all makes sense. So yeah, once the glue dries, I'm going to get to mounting the TV and all the fun stuff. Alright, the paper's holding on, so it's time to install the mounts for the TV and the soundbar. Ben already helped me measure this out so that way everything lines up like it should. I'm going to be using the templates that came with the soundbar and the TV, so it should all be good. Alright, the brackets are up. I was being super crazy about making them perfectly level, so I think I got them as close as they can be. Now I have to drill the holes for the power cord and the HDMI cord so that way you won't see it when all this is up. I got a 3/4 inch drill bit that I'm going to be using for this. And I also got some 3/4 inch grommets that I'm going to be feeding the wires through and putting over the holes so that way it'll look nice and finished. Okay, everything's hung, the wiring's done, so it's time to put her together. The carpet's installed. I'm not going to show you it in all its glory yet because you still got to see the fireplace wall, so let's check it out. So, what do you think? If anybody's wondering, my allergies are still intense, but I finally got some meds, so they're definitely not as bad. But yeah, I think the stone wallpaper is going to be the chef's kiss. Once all the furniture and all the cute little things are in, it's going to look legit. It already does, let's be honest. The carpet also looks amazing, but it's going to look even better once the baseboards are in, so I'm going to be doing that as well as the ceiling in the next video. If you want to keep up with everything that I'm doing, you should hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified when my next video comes out. I don't know if this video is helpful at all if you're trying to hang wallpaper, but if it is, cool. If not, you can always hit me up in the comments if you have any questions. Also, let me know what you think of the wallpaper. I definitely want to hear what you think. I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. If you're still watching at this point, you're amazing. I'll see you soon. Bye. First thing I'm going to do is apply the paste to the back of the first panel with a 3/8 inch shred.